In recent years, I've kind of noticed that I don't get quite as excited about new video games as I used to in the past. And, you know, can you blame me? Have you seen some of the hot garbage that's out there? Destiny 2 is a game that I was assuming they would learn from all their mistakes in the original and just improve and make a better thing. Then the game comes out, and after about 3 weeks of play, we're left with pretty much nothing to do. And then the developer themselves tells us, well, you know, you could just go make some friends. That's fun, right? And then we've got the steaming hot pile of garbage that is the new Battlefront game. Disappointments just seem to be around every corner. Even though we've got an industry that does have its fair share of gems, and yeah, you know, 2017 has been a pretty good year. All in all, my excitement tends to be at a fairly low level most of the time. But every once in a while, something comes along that catches my eye, and Anthem is looking to be one of those games. Today in this video, I want to talk a little bit about everything we know about the game so far and give some of my just general thoughts and opinions and hopes for what might be the next big thing. So if you haven't been paying too much attention, Anthem is a new upcoming open world looter shooter from Bioware. It's being described as a shared world action RPG, or in layman's terms, it's an open world game focused on combat, loot, and exploration. It takes place in a primeval world inhabited by savage, beastly creatures. Humanity in this world is on the bottom of the food chain and has come to rely on freelancers, and that's where we step in. Freelancers are us, the players, heroes who leave the safety of the walls of Fort Tarsus to explore the unknown and protect humanity. Yeah, this is all stuff you can read on the website. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What is Anthem? Well, based off of everything that we've known so far, I've went back and read tons of forum posts, I've watched the videos numerous times over, checked out the developer interviews, listened to radio interviews. Here's the lowdown, here's the dirt. What is Anthem? So we're gonna have this open world game to explore with a variety of activities. Think of pretty much any other open world game that you've known. There'll be sections to explore, there'll be sections where you fight bosses, there'll be various encounters, you'll have quests that you're gonna pick up. Now, how will we be doing this and why will we be doing this? Other than the narrative reason to, you know, save humanity, blah, blah, blah. It's what we do in every single video game. It's for the loot. This is a progression-based game. This is a game focused on upgrading our power. We've got these suits called Javelins, and these basically work as your classes. Javelins each have their own unique play style. We've learned about the Ranger, who's this balanced all-purpose Javelin, the Colossus, who's this tanking powerhouse. Probably get some sort of ranged character focused. We'll get maybe some melee ninja assassin guy. Maybe we'll get some mage guy, kind of alluded to in some concept art that we saw for this new Javelin as well. So we'll have these different Javelin classes, and we'll be able to upgrade and equip things. We'll be getting gear, and weapons in particular, from what we saw, look to have different rarity and stats. After they finished a mission in this video, we saw the weapon called the Jara's Wrath, which was a level 35 legendary Volt rifle with stats for damage, accuracy, range, rate of fire, and ammo. All of this was compared seemingly to the currently equipped weapon that the player had, and these stats and the focus on this stuff, as well as the focus on the level and the rarity, also leads me to believe that we're going to be dealing with some sort of random element. Think of what you see in Diablo, think of what you see in Borderlands. Gear will be dropping, and it'll have a chance to have a certain rarity with certain stats that are going to change based on the dice roll that takes place. So this will be, at its core, as far as we can tell, a gear acquisition game. We're going to be going through the world, we're going to be fighting bosses, these dangerous encounters. There are these events that will be taking place in the open world as well, called Shaper Storms. They're described as dynamic events. In the very end of the trailer, they show the portal opening up and players jumping into this. So this appears akin to any kind of dynamic open world thing that you see in a lot of these open world games, that you see in a lot of MMOs. And I almost mentally keep going back to the MMO genre because I think a lot of open world games have adopted what we saw made popular in MMOs over the years. And I like that because I like both genres. I'm a huge MMO fanboy. And in this barren wasteland that is new MMOs in recent years, I'm more than happy to pick up the mantle of the open world, drop-in, drop-out co-op game. This is also a game that I expect to have a big focus on story. Let us not forget that this is indeed a Bioware game, so we expect a similar story focus and world building that we see in games like Mass Effect and Dragon Age, although they have said in interviews that this is more of a fun romp, that they're looking for this to be more of a game that's focused on the combat and that is focused on the action. They made mention of the fact that this is a game that you will be able to complete solo and play entirely solo, although I would hope and wouldn't be surprised, I guess, if they do have things that are more co-op focused. Hopefully those Shaper Storms or these big bosses that we see in the world. We saw icons with skulls, we saw icons with ruins, we saw flag icons, all these different elements, all this different exploration. I mean, I think you pretty much know less structurally what we're going to be getting with this game. I don't expect it to be too much of a far cry from what we expect from a lot of open world games. So the catch here is going to be, is the combat fun enough? Do they build a world that is interesting and fun to explore, that is vast enough that will hold people's attention for a long time? And do they kind of fill in the void and the aspects that other similar type of games missed? We're looking at Destiny, Warframe, Division, Firefall, Borderlands, all great games within their own respects, but all in my eyes fell a little bit short to being something that I wouldn't just play for weeks and maybe a couple of months, but that I'd play for several months or even several years. None of those games held my attention for that long, as much as I wanted them to, as much as I enjoy the loot-focused genre. Gathering new weapons, increasing the power of your character, going on these epic, difficult hunts or boss fights or raids or whatever the heck they want to call them. These difficult endgame things that you work towards through the improvement and the acquisition of new things for your character. That is what I really hope that Anthem gets right. Loot games are about constantly coming back and constantly improving, and I'm really hoping that that's something that Bioware focuses on. They have that difficult endgame, and they have that thing for us to work towards. Either way, I'm very hopeful that this could be the next big thing, and I do certainly expect that I'll be checking it out. I just hope that it's not something that I'm only looking at and playing for a couple of weeks, and that it holds my attention for a longer time. Bioware, the ball's in your court.